Alright, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Solar in the top right, ByuN in the bottom left. It's the grand finals of Pigstarcraft. Sorry, these guys just launched straight into the finals, so I've missed the openings. It was a 13 extractor trick to 13 into Overlord, 2 more drones, 15 hatchery for Solar. So Solar's playing a standard hatch first, no drone scout, incredibly greedy. ByuN though is going command center first, and this is what I've seen mostly on the patch. I'm very curious because I wonder, are people not mixing in your proxy 3 barracks, your proxy 2 barracks? Solar might be making a read, basically, that ByuN, who's very micro-oriented, since the PTR is only on the American servers, US West and US Central, ByuN might not have faith in his Marine micro to take you down with a proxy Marine or something like that. So Solar maybe just kind of going, you know what, I'll take the risk. Or maybe he's just doing this because he's a greedy bastard. And I don't mean that as any hate towards Solar. That's what I fall into a lot. A lot of us just fall into like playing very greedy. I've been a big fan of drone scouting. I think drone scouting is quite disruptive. Harassing the SCV on the command center. You can sex out everything, see what's going on. And the 2 openings that I think are most powerful right now are 1.5 to 2.5 base Mutalisks against Terran, and also gasless openings into Roaches. Just to get your 3 base up, and then going from there. It feels like Zerg, if you rush your gas too early on the 8 worker start with the current balance, doesn't have enough lava, and the queens are too expensive for only 3 lava inject. Getting like an early pool and an early queen for injecting doesn't make up for that at all. So that's actually really, really big. I'm just tabbing out momentarily to close our prediction on this match. There we go. Thank you for the reminder, Twitch chat. And it is going to be a couple of Zerglings, so 2 Zerglings, 2 queens. Is he going to make Ling speed and pull off gas, I wonder? I really like not making Ling speed and going straight layer after my queen pops and doing this, you know, 2 base muta. I doubt Solar's going to do that. I imagine Solar's playing super normie. 3rd hatch. Yeah, Ling speed, super generic. So he's kind of just copying the 12 worker builds over. And I think these can still work. They're just very fragile with the timing difference. A lot of Terrans are playing like Hellion Banshee and stuff like that. It's still good. Obviously, the double gas here required after CC first to go for the factory and the reactor on time. And both sides not really interacting with the opponent or scouting much just yet. First scout about to come in here. All right, sees the factory and the reactor. Starport has gone down, though that was not spotted by the Zerglings. Big thank you for the $10 tip, Senju. Congrats on hitting Diamond 2. That's actually a huge milestone. Many players get to Diamond and never make it out of Diamond 3. I would say the majority of players that make Diamond never make it past Diamond 3 because it's a big jump. If you ever do that, you are in the minority and you should be very proud. Oh, interestingly, guys, the factory hasn't swapped over. So ByuN's going to be playing quite 2-basey here for now. Solar's just building queens, getting his 3rd up. He's got 2 mineral lines going. Very defensive, very economic. And it's going to be, let's see, like, so how does ByuN's greed into 2-base aggressive build match up against Solar's just generic greedy build? Because you could argue ByuN's almost like a little greedy earlier in that, like, there was Ling speed, you know, there was a few little safety mechanisms here for Solar, whereas ByuN going CC first is definitely on that more extreme end of the greed. Does Pig know what a loony is? What are you, Canadian? Loonies and toonies. Yeah, you guys have Looney Tunes for money. I know. Liberator's on the way. Okay, so it's Hellion Lib into 3 at 30. It's not big aggression. I thought he might go 2nd and 3rd barracks, but this is pretty light, guys. It's a 6 Marine drop 3 Hellion pressure, but he needs to get a response here. From what I've seen so far on the PTR, even though, like, I made a video yesterday talking about Zerg early lava being bad, so it's really hard to do early aggression. In the games I've watched, Zerg has actually been outscaling Terran and Protoss players pretty consistently, and I wonder if it's guys like Solar are getting away with greed, or are they just too good? Because if ByuN doesn't do much soon, there's double Evo going down. If this 3rd gets these next 5 drones on it, you're at full saturation just past 5.5 minutes. The 3rd command center is delayed a fair bit. It feels like this is a good start for Zerg, which could snowball very hard in the near future. Then again, 1-1 upgrades have started. 2nd and 3rd barracks is on the way. 4th and 5th barracks is already down with the 3rd gas. Yeah, maybe I'm exaggerating Solar's position. Like, just the light pressure from ByuN seems to have forced enough of a response. It has slowed him down a bit, and he is only playing 2 gas right now as he takes the 4th hatchery. 1-1 upgrade start, what I would say is insanely early for Zerg, but of course Terrans are already on the way. Targeting your own Hellion to kill the tumor without vision is so extra. I don't know why. Whenever anyone uses the word extra, that's the only accent I hear it in. Do you guys have the same thing? There's certain words that you immediately think like, oh, this is the accent that goes with that vocabulary, you know? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Lib takes some big damage. Careful. ByuN with a bit of a sloppy F2 there, it looked like. Link's going to go around the right side. Natural's wide open. Mate is Aussie. I love that we've tricked the Americans into thinking like all the British people that spam mate just as much as us, but we've claimed it. We spammed it even more, and now it's become ours. Okay, so right now it's only like an 8-worker, 7-worker advantage for Zerg. That's actually not too bad. Feels like these guys are really just kind of respecting each other. No one's taking any big risks aggressively. Finally, the Lings come in, and it's well worth trading a few Lings for 4 SCVs there. Liberator massively overkills on those Zerglings. So well done. Can ByuN get a bit more damage though? Solar is up on 4 base now. He's got the 4th base there. Ling, Bane pumping out. Carapace on the way. Bane speed coming in also. Is he going to outscale ByuN? Because generally that is a problem in their head-to-head matchups in 12 workers in general. And recently Solar has been taking an advantage in their head-to-head. Hey, not bad. 2 Banes for 2 depots and 2 SCVs. That's really well done. He knew the Lib was going to shoot him down, so he just took that while those depots were low on hit points. They'd just started. Bane rolling forward right now. Widowmine's trying to burrow. But they are a little bit slow to it. The Marines are going to have to pick up in these medevacs. You can see the Queen's cleaned up the Widowmines. Marines microing back, but I think Solar has the numbers. Even without 1-1, it only kicks in at the very tail end. Combat shields on the way. Hydra upgrade, Groove Spines, 2-2. And look at this. He's now got his 4th up. His 5th is going up in the north. Dude, his supply's still dead even. But he's starting to get to that big, scary Solar position. The question is, can he get to Hive Tech? A lot of players get stuck a bit more in this like 120, 100 to 150 supply zone, fighting for a 4th and 5th base. But Solar's raced up to 4 base saturation, so he should be able to secure a Hive if he wants to. Oh, that Widowmine got a lot of Banelings! A lot of Banelings just went down. Uh-oh. Okay, so Hydras are still building. Up the very top, we've got the 5th base coming in. I wonder if Solar's going to squeeze that infestation in. He's not normally a guy who does a Hydraling Bane timing. There we go. There we go. There's that infestation bit. Meanwhile, 4th Command Center goes down for Terran. 3 more barracks as well. Is there a second factory for ByuN? There is. He's building himself a tech lab down here. So he's already building mines. He wants to add potentially tanks to that. Better against the Hydra Bane. Oh, there is a load nearby command now on the medevacs, isn't there, guys, in the Overlords? I can't imagine any pro is going to use that. The muscle memory is too deep, and I think it's more of an advantage for players who have bad mouse accuracy. You guys let me know if you're sure he was using that. I haven't tried it at all, so I'm actually not sure. Oh, watch out, watch out. Oh, Hydra Intercept! Very nice catch there for Solar. Very ballsy going so far on the map with unprotected Hydras, but it was the right call. Absolutely the right call. He's got the gas for Hive, but he's under pressure in the middle. ByuN's got a little bit of a parade going. It's actually really useful, the load nearby units on all the transports they added. Really? Pickups are way smoother. It actually looks like he's using it every time. Really? Okay, guys, I'm really keen to try it. I got to try it. Everyone's saying it's really good, including some pretty high-level players in the chat. Yeah, this is the PTR, guys. This is the PTR. The players aren't going to be playing with the best connections. So they might play a little more conservative, a bit more macro-focused, because they are playing cross-server to US West, but we'll see how they go. Marine Mine Medevac getting overrun. And Solar just defends way too well. No siege tanks ready. Widowmine's not the best against this. He's going to send a little run-by drop in the north. There's one Lib. The tank pops into the Banelings. And that's just too much Zerg on the dance floor. Solar is going to take care of business here in game 1. ByuN on the big Zerg-favored map. Not able to exert enough pressure. And I think he's probably going to feel like his opening didn't really get enough of a response from the Zerg. Queens chase the medevac away. It pulls back. Marines are doing damage, but of course, Solar's killed 26 workers. He's denied the 4th base for now. The Hydras are still trading pretty well with that +2 carapace. That is looking fantastic. GG's. Nice game 1 for Solar there. Pretty stock-standard, guys. I think what was interesting is how well he shut down that opening aggression, but also how passive the Lib was. It felt like ByuN wasn't trying to force things, didn't really find the value he needed, and I think we just saw a solid macro build on Old Republic pay off really, really well. Old Republic, one of the best maps for Zerg versus Terran. Not a surprise for ByuN to go down here, but I think Solar feels really confident with that. All right, guys, going to game 2. Solar's once again going to go 13 supply into Overlord. Oh, actually, he's not building an Overlord this time. Oh, he's going to go 13 hatchery. Okay, guys, interesting. This is a very different build order. I don't know what this changes exactly, but it's way less greedy. Maybe it's because it's a small map. Do you think he also builds a spawning pool now? Oh, he's going to go hatch gas pool. No, okay, that was just an extractor trick. He's just a little slow on the cancel. Okay, so this is 13 hatch, 13 Overlord. Okie dokie. This is both, this is kind of, we've been talking about, this is kind of like a 15-15, but in the new version, right? So essentially, you're just speeding up the hatchery, speeding up the spawning pool. This will keep you much safer against the early Reaper. This is going to be an early Reaper. There was no Reaper in the last game. He went Command Center first. I wonder if ByuN mixes any 3CC in. Because I've seen some players just play very fast 3rd CC. He played CC first into a delayed 3rd CC in that last game. Didn't find much damage. Be interesting to see how it goes. I also wonder if Solar plays full gasless. I was saying full gasless feels pretty good into roaches. Could be very nice. Pig, I bet you were eating noodles. Oh no. That's a crazy reference. Oh, Doc's giving me boiling water. Okay. Normally I have 50-degree water to sip on to relax the throat while I'm casting. I just sipped it and it was like, oh my god, that is not 50 degrees. That's at least 70, probably higher. Oh my. Luckily it was the tiniest sip. Otherwise that could have been bad. Alright, we get the command center going down. One Reaper comes forward. Why does ByuN do the weird wall off? Maybe it's just so if banelings come in, this depot on the left doesn't get blown up. Reaper's going to come in and find 2 Zerglings only on the defense. Forces an extractor already. Solar's micro has been pretty good. I think part of the reason Solar wanted to do this opening is get these queens out in time. Oh, slow on the inject on the natural. Couple seconds delayed there. A little sloppy, but that's okay. He's gone gas here quite early. I thought this opening would be a full gasless opening. I wonder if he's going to go 2 base muter off this, guys. He's pulled a worker off gas, so I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think he maybe 2 base roach. Maybe do one of these like carapace roachling style openings that we're seeing in live right now. Now, interesting, a lot of people have been asking me, oh, he's going to do the ghosts. Okay, ByuN's going to do the ghosts. Ghosts are super OP, guys. That being said, they're still a very expensive unit that can just get killed. And they are weak to banelings, but you don't have banelings in the early game. So probably a Hellbat Ghost Pressure is what ByuN will be opening with here. It's a very, very nasty unit, the Ghost. It does 20 damage a shot to everything now. Not just light units, 7 range. And of course, it cannot have its snipe interrupted. So I don't know if it's actually crazy overpowered, but everyone's saying it's overpowered. And it's definitely very, very good as a raw combat unit now. But yeah, it's very, very good at just killing stuff. I've actually been doing a lot of 1 base Ghost drop, 4 Ghosts into Medevac, into 3CC against Zerg, and had good success with it. Obviously, people don't really know what they're doing. People are just clicking buttons, but there are situations you get in if your opponent doesn't react correctly. They're just very solid. That being said, this is going to massively delay a 3rd. He does hide the Ghost, which is well done. There's only 1 Ghost out. I mean, sure, 1 Ghost is not enough, and he's supply blocked. Okay, there we go. Gets on supply blocked. You can see what he does here. 2 Zerglings and an Overlord go down. Nice little pressure. Good damage on the Queens. And remember, Snipe now does 170 damage versus all targets, not just Psionic. Roaches on the way. There is that early Evo we were talking about. Roach speed also. The Ghost is only going to... It's 75 energy per snipe. So you got to realize, like, yeah, it's a good unit, but it's not like it's going to kill everything, man. They do come out very slowly one at a time. But if you can't even handle the Hellions, what are you going to do? Oh my god. Solar just way too greedy. He felt like because he didn't have a 3rd, he was playing safe. But the Ghost just walks across the map with the Hellions. And he's just got no units. This is just getting caught with no units for Solar. And that's, I guess, the downside of skipping link speed. Didn't overseer scout. and just tried to get up to 45 workers, because in Legacy 12 worker mindset, 45 workers is safe against just about everything. But ByuN commits hard, hits a very sharp pressure, goes third CC behind it. Oh, he did Overseer Scout. It wasn't an Overlord. That was an Overlord. And you can see here, man, the Ghosts, their regular auto attack with 7 range is just crazy. Much like the current Ghost, you need to have enough units when that hits to overwhelm the Ghosts. You can't be letting them just sit there and take pot shots at you. And that was just Solar getting caught completely blindsided. Very nice attack. Right, guys. Going into game 3 now. It's tied up 1-1. Solar's going to have to be a bit more careful. It's a bigger map here, Taito, so I doubt ByuN goes for something similar again. Solar in the top left of the map. ByuN, of course, is in the bottom right side. He's going to go for that 11 depot, as is Solid. Big thank you, Toll, for the subs. Adams for the tips. I really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you so much for helping Pigasaur run every single week. We really appreciate you guys ever so much. I wonder if ByuN does a gasless opening other than CC first. Because I wonder if it's worth going... Like, the Overlords are so slow, guys. If you go out with two Marines or even 3 Marines off of a barracks first, he's not going to do it. He's going to do command center first again. And you catch the first Overlord, it does feel like the Zerg's very blind and has no idea. And I also wonder if there's like one base all-ins you could do with that. Because Solar and a lot of the Zergs I've seen, like, no one's really drone scouting. I thought drone scouting would be a little more common. But we're not really seeing proxy Marine all-ins. Like, shouldn't proxy 3-racks kill a no-scout hatch first in both of these games, guys? Definitely this version of the 15 hatch. Like, this Overlord is so slow in this version of BTR to the point where people think it's a mistake. I don't know if it is or not. They've actually made it even slower than the Heart of the Swarm Overlord, is what people have said. I guess the Overlord speed changed a few times over the years, but yeah. It is incredibly slow on a big map like this, so kind of feels like you could already have Marines popping out in the near future, and then the Overlord's only halfway. And the Overlord gets there and is like, hey, you don't have an expansion, and there's like, you know, I don't know, 5 Marines in a bunker building in your natural. So I'm curious. I'm really shocked that ByuN's not mixing some cheese in against a guy who's not drone scouting. But I guess this is just, there's so many options. We're all overwhelmed, aren't we? Trying to, like, I remember I didn't try out a whole range of builds for a while, and then I was like, oh, let's play this like 1.5 base muta, and I was like, oh, this feels so good, you know, like just go lair before ling speed and just go straight for mutas after. I was like, this is amazing, this build feels really good, and why didn't I try this before? I haven't tried that 13-13 Solar just did. There are so many builds to try out and see how they all interact, and at the moment there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement. I wonder if the players have tried to cheese each other a bit more and it didn't work, and that's why they're playing so passive. Or is it just, hey, well, this is how we were playing before on 12 workers, let's continue doing it? Because there's always going to be a little bit of that. You got to kind of fight to get over the resistance of trying to just do the same things you were before. And one of the big things, yeah, like I noticed in all of our different show matches and stuff over the last year was sometimes players would just do the exact same thing, even when there was other opportunities that were clearly available. It's just lack of practice and stuff. And it always reminds me of like how we've had big changes in StarCraft, and it's always like 6-7 months later where something actually gets abused correctly, or like the meta actually starts to stabilize. It takes such a long time for us to figure out the meta. And ByuN and Solar, have they played any other big series against each other? I wonder if this is their first one they've played head-to-head. So far, Marines do come out, they get an Overlord, which is really nice. That's CC first, still gets the Overlord snipe without even having to float a building. Double mules are dropping. It is still a double gas, so it looks identical to game 1 so far. Are there fun meme builds on this patch, says chat? I mean, you can do anything you want in StarCraft, right? Euthermal exists in the current version of the game, so the only thing that's like directly a cause of this patch would be using Microbial Shroud more as a direct change, right? Obviously, you can tech faster. There are a little bit because the 8 workers, and ghosts are very strong, so you could definitely do a lot of things with ghosts that'll catch people off guard. But I doubt any of these changes are final, so we'll see what goes on. Okay, this is interesting. Looks like he's going to go Hellion Banshee this time around. Okay, so ByuN's going for a more conservative Hellion Banshee. None of that kind of weird 6 Marine drop, 3 Hellion poking around stuff. Solar's doing a very similar format, figuring out, refining, perfecting his opening. Oh, you can also neural Parasite in SCV now. It used to be if you neuraled an SCV, told it to build a command center, you would have to then neural it like 5 more times to finish that command center. Roach time with Microbial seems very good, says Giant Orange. Well, that's interesting to hear. I've been a big fan of going just a few Ravagers and then trying to get into like Ling Ultra with the Microbial, because it does work against your own units. I guess I'm probably overemphasizing the power of that, but Microbial Shroud reduces, if the enemy's bio ends up in the Microbial Shroud as well, they also take half damage from Roaches, and Roaches already do pretty low damage. Our StarCraft player is going to win Harris tournament and prove StarCraft 2 is best. Oh, we'll see. I mean, Uthermal seems to be grinding for the big Age of Empires tournament, so I don't know if I'll be able to match his raw hours. I'll try to out-strategize him, but I think we've both got a good chance. I think Grubby's looking scary. He's put a ton of time into learning the game recently as well, so kind of comes in, him and Uthermal, with, I think, the most current experience. Should try a 160 supply 3-base Roach Infested timing. I got hit by it. It seemed really good, says chat. Okay, definitely. All right, Hellions picking off creep. Banshee coming in. Solar's been really solid on the D so far. He's got third Spore coming up in the natural only now, though. There is an opening here. And seeing that, ByuN's going to get a lot of mining time and a few drones. Very nicely done. Oh, my lord! We just got a raid from Hera. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. We are going to be hopping over to Age of Empires at the end of this Grand Finals, guys. We are watching a weekly tournament right now on StarCraft's new test patch. ByuN, the 2016 World Champion, up against Solar, the unluckiest player in the world, one of the top players in the world, a Zerg player who is most famous for having nukes land on him when he's about to win, you know, big matches against world champions and stuff like that. Solar, I mean, damn, can everyone in chat even remember all the time Solar's been unlucky in famous moments? It is actually ridiculous. There was a time where they didn't properly QA a map in the Korean Global StarCraft League, and a Protoss came up, built a single pylon at the bottom of the ramp, and it completely blocked him in his base, which is not meant to happen. And then he built cannons and locked him in his base with a single pylon and cannon while taking an expansion. I don't think anyone's ever seen more pain on a pro gamer's face than when he was like, "Are you guys serious? Like, we regame, right? We host a different map," and they're like, "The rules are the rules. You lose this match." So Solar's had it rough in his career. He's won a lot of money, won a lot of tournaments despite that. ByuN, of course. Oh no, ByuN run away. His Banshee's left behind. The Queens are going to clean them up. A bit sloppy for ByuN there. Here we go, Marine Hellion pressure on the front. The Banelings trying to get close, but they don't have the speed upgrade. The Hellion's kind of body blocking on the front line there a little bit, and the Marines are going to poke forward. We've got 5 Mutalisks on the way. Solar's being greedy, trying to get to Mutalisks. His Baneling speed upgrade is about 20 seconds, but he does not want to lose his third base. He has to go in. ByuN misclicks! Oh! ByuN is famous for focusing down Banelings, the little acid boys, before they hit his Marines. And he only got one of them. That is a tragic misclick. Normally, ByuN would get all of those, but remember, it's the patch test server, which is only in America. These guys are in Korea, so they have extra lag. ByuN's gonna be mad. He's gonna be like, there's no way I make these misclicks if I'm playing on the Korean server. The Banshee goes down at the same time. He doesn't quite crack through the third base. The Mutalisks do chase too far, though. The reinforcements arrive. ByuN does not want to give up this push just yet. If he kills this third, he probably wins this game. If his army gets cleaned up, his own third base is very late. He needs damage right here, right now. And that third base will go down. Nice snipe for ByuN. Dogged determination in the face of a very scary situation. Muta's coming forward. Ooh, okay. Solar only has a single Baneling alive. Even though he gets the tank, he needs more Banelings, and they are just prime targets for ByuN's Marines. Oh, he didn't click it though. The Baneling blasts about half of those Marines, but the remaining half are just too strong. They had +1, they had combat shields, and ByuN catches Solar on the way to Mutas. Very nicely played. GG. All right, guys, next game, we've got 2,500 Age of Empires fans in the chat, so we're going to try and do this one with the explanation. These guys are villagers, except they just do their own thing. These are like AoE 4 villagers, okay, for those who don't know. They're just going to do their job. You don't need to micro them. They're not going to bump into each other. They just do it anyway. Not very interesting. You just keep building them. Idle command center time, idle town center time. That's bad. These guys, pretty good. They're not idling. They're not idling their town centers. They're pumping drones. They're pumping SCVs. The bugs down here, I don't know what civ. What civ would be a Zerg civ? I guess classically it would be like Chinese and that you just have more stuff, but like modern Zerg kind of doesn't have that much stuff. Sometimes Zerg ends up getting swarmed by the other factions, so I don't even know. Thank you very much for the love, guys. Appreciate it. It's a Reaper expand for ByuN. He's going to be going for a Scout. You don't get a Scout in this game unless you pay for it. So ByuN's going to have to get gas early, get himself a scout, go harass his opponent. Solar's played a pretty greedy opening. It's a hatch gas pool, so he's expanding before getting up gas, before getting his spawning pool, which means the Reapers should have a little bit of time to bounce around the base, maybe pick off a unit or two, try to find some damage, and make up for the fact that he has massively delayed his command center to get the Reaper. And interestingly, he's going to 2-1-1 behind it, isn't he? Oh my god, guys, he's going to 2-1-1. He's going reactor. I bet he builds a second barracks. No? Okay, he's going for a depot first. It is bugged right now in the PTR. You get +2 supply from the orbital. Keep that in mind, so it kind of messes with the builds. I don't think he needs a depot this early, but he will be once they fix that bug. Patch test server, always a little buggy. Reaper comes in, finds himself some Zerglings. They're trying to dance away. He doesn't want to lose these Zerglings. Sorry for the bad camera work there. One Zergling goes down. Reaper's starting to pick off drones. You can see them getting low, but dancing in and out. And he can always quickly turn one of these drones into a building and then cancel it to save it from the Reaper. Really good micro buying time here for Solar. That drone, though, tries to transfer to the natural where it cannot be saved. But the Zerglings and the Queens pop out and they will defend. No inject in the main just yet. He needs to go back, inject lava, while the other Queen does deflect. Okay, so back at home, it is just a factory opening. I thought he was going to go 2-on-1, but he just wanted to reactor out a few Marines. The Overlords are so much slower right now. 2-1-1 is 2 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. Solar says SS. Dude, these guys are friends. Solar's like, oh, what the hell? That's not meant to be there. And ByuN, being the bro that he is, has decided to let his Overlord live. Mate, it's a $400 tournament, man. What are you doing? Don't give him mercy, ByuN. He's the one who messed up. Solar's making excuses right now in Korean. Someone can translate that if you guys want to in the chat. I believe everyone reads Korean in chat because StarCraft fans all read Korean. Oh, shiz, we've actually got famous pro gamer Scarlet, who actually can read Korean, says, why is Overlord so slow, is what Solar was saying there. Nice! Yeah, ByuN and Solar, if either of them goes on holiday, guys, they drop their dog off at the other one's house. They dog sit for each other. They're best buds. Anytime one of them makes a mistake, a game-losing mistake, the other guy will let him know by dropping question marks in the chat and laughing at him. It's an old rivalry. They've played, I think, about 400 maps against each other in tournaments that are recorded. Probably a whole ton more tournaments that aren't actually recorded. And they are, across that 400 or so games, they are pretty much locked at a 50-50 standstill. They are incredibly evenly matched. Cloak's coming in for Banshee harass behind this, but I like the little Zergling run-by attempt. Third hatchery did get delayed a fair bit. Of course, one of the big changes in this new StarCraft patch is the 8 workers is getting experimented with, as well as mineral values changing on the bases, which means they take a little bit longer for those mineral patches to start mining out. Hellions catch these Zerglings. The depot gets raised there. Can you guys... Okay, actually, I need some feedback from Age of Empires fans. How would you feel if in Age of Empires, your houses could go up and down? I feel like they should add a civ with the way all the DLCs have been going, where they've got like some pretty crazy changes. There should be a civ where you can just build a full wall, but then the house just pops into the ground to let you in and out. No. Not a gate. Not a gate. No. It's a wall. It sometimes is a wall, and sometimes it hides and pretends it's not a wall. No. For those who don't know, big drama in the StarCraft scene is Protoss players have been asking for a door, much like the supply depot, for about 10 years now. Everybody's refused to give it to them. They're very upset about it. So that's one of the big grievances in the StarCraft community. Why does Terran get a door? We wish we had a door. The most famous Protoss player in the world is famous for always leaving his door wide open when most players leave a unit on hold position blocking it and letting the enemy run in and murder his workers. Best Protoss player in the world, still wins despite that happening almost every game. Ooh, double armory mech, guys. Okie dokie. So, with the mineral changes, let's talk about it. Basically, with these bases, normally half your patches would be 1800, half 900. Instead, it's 1600 and 1200. That means it's longer before your minerals mine out, which means if you're turtling on 3 bases, you can turtle for longer. And I've experienced mech feeling like you don't run out of resources nearly as fast when you're playing a slower, more efficient mech comp with lots of siege tanks, hellbats, slowly building up a big army size to reach that peak efficiency. You have a lot more time on this PTR to actually try and get it to work. So I don't mind a Cyclone start. That's a more mobile battle mech style, but I think you should maximum build 4 Cyclones and then hard swap to tanks. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated because he's playing against Mutalisks. So Solar's playing Mutas. Mutas are really bad against Widowmines and Thors. They're not great against Cyclones, but obviously if it's purely tanks and Hellbats, they cannot shoot up. So Mutas are good for getting control. You're almost never going to do a lot of damage with Mutas, though, unless you happen to surround these Cyclones with Zerglings. So the question is, does ByuN know what's happening? Let's go to ByuN's camera, watch from his point of view. I don't know if he's picked up on this yet. Mutas were just coming out in the last game, and then he won then, so he should know Solar wants to play Mutas. Mutas are one of the strongest units, in my experience. They got a small change with how they can fire their shots more consistently. Some obscure stat no one's ever heard of called arc slop. Apparently the arc slop has been increased for the Mutalisk, which is one of the most confusing patch notes anyone's ever read in their entire life. I enjoyed watching everyone's videos going, what the hell does that mean? Queen's going to respread creep here as well. We've got Mutas flying around the left side. No turrets, he has no idea, no turrets. Oh, and his Cyclones are moving out. That's his mobile anti-air right here. If these Mutas go for the mineral line, they could do crazy damage right now. Alien Cyclone moving in right now. We've got Mutas flying around the back door. They're going to go into that main base. Oh man, Solar's going to find big damage. There's not much popping out. A few Cyclones here. Banshees don't shoot up. They cannot fight against that. They have to cloak to try and get out of there. Hellions stay in the middle of the map for map control. A lot of SCVs going down. Only 7 so far. It could be worse, honestly. The pool was very quick. But he can now go to the third as well. Those SCVs are also very vulnerable. Ooh, a lot of Mutalisks do fall though. Those lock-ons have crazy range. You know what? I thought that was going to be a lot worse. 12 workers is actually totally okay. That is not that bad. $7.57. If this was Age of Empires 2, it would still be in feudal. Keep in mind, Age of Empires is much like StarCraft 2's old clock. It's 1.4 times. So if you see an hour-long game in Age of Empires, it's actually more like, what, 40 minutes? Something like that? Lings and Mutas moving around this side. That's why a lot of people get confused when they look at old Heart of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty games. It's 1.7. StarCraft is 1.4. Age of Empires is 1.7. It's even more drastic. Ling Bane, 2 queens go down. Baneling's trying to roll forward. Hellion Cyclone trying to deal with this. Massive damage right here. The Cyclones can just do this all day because they can lock on and fire while moving. Usually a very overpowered statistic in an RTS. But guess what? Mutaling doesn't care. They go around and he says, well, you can pick and run at me all day. I'm just going to go around and go after your economy. Rinses the third base, wipes it out, and now looks for the surround. If these Cyclones get surrounded, this is going to be tragic. ByuN needs to get home. He needs to bring his reinforcements. He needs to join up. He's got to get out of here. He cannot get surrounded. He's done some good damage to Solar, but Solar destroying that third base is absolutely massive. You can land the command center. It's still alive, but with no workers, what are you going to do? Drop 2 mules. The income difference is just night and day. I think ByuN's maybe regretting letting that Overlord survive right now. Lingbane Muta moving down the left side. Ooh, okay. I think if Solar gets a surround on this, he just wins. And if there's no Widow Mines, I don't think you can win this with pure Cyclone. Also, vehicle weapon upgrades do very little for Cyclones. I gotta be critical of ByuN's style, guys. He's going double upgrades with half of his main army unit. The Cyclone doesn't benefit from that upgrade. Massive fight, could be game deciding. Ling's looping around the side. He's got to get to the right. He's got to move right. He cannot let those Banelings connect. The Hellion's doing pretty well on Blue Flame, but some of the Bane's connecting nonetheless. The Muta's doing really good damage, and ByuN just does not have the numbers to hold on. I think if you think about this style, if you're going to go, I think it was just because the game got hectic. I don't think it was his plan from the start. I think his plan was probably to go more traditional mech, because otherwise the double armory makes no sense. And I think this was like a really big mistake for him. So basically, double armory, tanks, Thors, Hellbats, all going to benefit from that a lot. Cyclones, not so much. I think if he stayed a bit more defensive and pivoted into that, these upgrades would have really benefited him. But he got a bit too aggressive. Losing that third was game ending. All right, guys, Solar's back to the old 13 extractor trick into Overlord. Bit more banter at the start of the game. And ByuN, will he be going for a barracks? Looks like he is. You can see that SCV's rallied here. So he's going to be building a barracks at the front, going for that gas right after, perhaps. Oh, he cuts SCVs. He wants to get his Reaper across early enough to do more damage. So he actually cuts an entire SCV out of the build. Maybe about 10 seconds, maybe slightly more. So ByuN just wants his Reaper to be a little bit faster, hopefully get a drone kill with it to make up for that. StarCraft 2 is not a strategy game. It's an action game wearing a fancy code pneumatical. It's a real-time strategy game. Real-time strategy games are very different to strategy games. So you can say the same thing about Age of Empires and all RTS. It's just too fast, this or that. The thing about RTS is they're always much like, there's more similarities between them and real sports as opposed to something like chess. Chess, there's no mechanical aspect to it, right? And unless you're talking about speed chess and how quickly you can, flick the timer and move your pieces. Whereas when you're looking at a lot of these RTSs, there's always an element of speed. So it's much like football. If you watch soccer, football, whatever, you can be the smartest player in the world. If you can't run as fast and do the right things with the ball, it's going to not matter. You will be bad, right? But there is still strategy. There is still, a lot of cohesion. There is a lot of formation. There is a lot of adapting to the opponents. But it is layered underneath the mechanics. And that is the way most regular physical sport works as well. That's something people often get confused about. Okay, Reactor after Reaper again. So he's enjoying this opening. This was a later gas. Solar has a queen out here, though. Nice and fast. Building a second queen will easily deflect this Reaper. Yeah, SE2 is on so there's, when it comes to like base management, macro, this sort of stuff, Age of Empires is pretty far. Let's say this left side of my screen is like Age of Empires 2. And then on the right side is like StarCraft 2. And then there's other games that are like in the middle in terms of like how much base management. Like Age of Empires has a lot of like city builder aspects where there's like all these really cool like little things you can min-max with your economy. There's like really fascinating resource management. There's so many upgrades and stuff. And StarCraft 2 is like very fast paced, very action, very interactive. Like the micro and the interaction starts pretty early in the game. And and there's also like a very big single player quotient. Age of Empires, big amount of you kiting boars, getting your farms in, getting your build order down, your Dark Age. And StarCraft 2, very small single player quotient on this right side of the spectrum. I'd say when you look at classic RTS, I do think of StarCraft 2 and AoE 2. Whilst they share similarities in skills, they are pretty far apart on that spectrum. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Warcraft 3 is off the screen. Yeah, Warcraft 3 is a weird one because it's nowhere near as fast as StarCraft. But it's like basically, it is the progenitor of MOBAs. Like it's all about a micro wrestling war, using abilities, getting items, fighting over these little, mission objectives basically is what creep camps are. And it's like, very much like a slow battle, but drawn out and very kind of like it's just a slow wrestling match, isn't it? But it is definitely very little base management and like upgrades in macro compared to an Age of Empires. It's even less than StarCraft 2. All right, guys, let's go. We've got Ghost coming out. One Ghost. Are we going to build a second straight away? Similar timing to what ByuN won with earlier. Is this going to be enough? I don't know, man. We've got another Ghost popping out right now. It feels like Solar was caught wildly off guard last time around, and he was also trying to build Roaches, which are perfect targets for the Ghost snipes. If you think about the Ghosts, Lings are probably better against them. Hellions, very good against the Zerglings. Uh-oh, Queen gets caught off creep. That's sloppy. Let's transfuse. Transfuse goes down on the Queen. One Queen's going to get popped by the snipe, though. Assuming you tap her, she does finally get tapped. Two Queens go down. Here come the Zerglings, but Hellions, Marines, and the Ghost adding its auto-attack in, doing a bit of damage. This is disrupting. Is it enough, though? It's like, for some reason, there was an SCV attacked that barracks. It just took 4 hit points of damage, guys. Not sure why. Ghosts have been massively buffed in this test patch. I don't know if they're going to go through like this at all. Oh, if you catch the Ghost, that's huge. If you catch a Ghost, that's huge. Ghost does have 7 range. It does 20 damage a shot to everything. It's not only good against light units anymore. Third command, and it does go down at home. Marine will start pursuing the Overlord, and ByuN's going to back off now. He's slowed Solar down, forced a bunch of Zerglings, killed a few Queens. Like, that is value, right? Killing a few Queens, forcing them to get rebuilt, and Solar feels so afraid he's massing Zerglings. If ByuN plays passively, I think he's in a good spot here. But if he gets overeager and thinks I need to go do damage, and he gets surrounded by these Lings, it is going to be, really bad for him. Oh, accidentally attacks the rocks. Can break those rocks down later in the game, but not with this army. Double eBay, 2 more barracks. 1-1 upgrades have started for Solar. That's not going to help him right now, but he's got a lot of Zerglings. 36 Zerglings. And look at that surround. Coming in from the left side as well. The Hellions. Oh, he's going to get completely surrounded, is he? Oh my gosh, the Ghosts are slipping out. Are they slipping out? There's more Lings where that came from, though. Those Ghosts, they tank a bit as well at 100 hit points. They finally both go down. Those 2 Ghosts die arm in arm there. And the last Hellions fall as well. That's really nice cleanup for Solar. As I said, you forced so many Zerglings, but you might feel like you need to get more, and that will be bad if he goes for it. And it is bad. I think Solar now has a free pass to just spread this creep across the map. He's securing a 4th expansion on the right side now. 1-1 upgrades are on the way. Baneling Nest coming in. He's on 5 gases. Third command center coming up inside the main base right now. It'd be cool if he kept those ghosts alive, just because later in the game you might be able to like snipe some chunky boy units, maybe land some EMPs on some spellcasters. As it is, ByuN's kind of forced now into a delayed... Actually, that's a 4th command center, isn't it? Oh, is ByuN going to turtle to late game? Dude, I've been really wanting to see how the ghosts do in the late game. Some Zergs have said it's just like broken because the snipe is also uncancelable. It used to be like you could interrupt the snipe by damaging the ghost when he's trying to channel his sniper shot. You can't do that anymore. There is no way to disable it without killing the ghost. But the ghosts are also 3 supply and they cost 75 energy per snipe. So it still feels like you'd need to be in a competitive position in the late game. And ByuN, as much as he's trying to get there with a greedy 4th command center, I don't know if he can survive long enough. Solar's already got 5 bases, 74 drones up. The creep is getting out on the map. He's into Baneling speed, Hydra upgrades coming in, so we'll have a bit of anti-air to support. ByuN's going to need to really work hard to defend this incoming mass Hydraling Bane attack that Solar probably goes for. Marine's picking up over there as well. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Bane's coming in from behind. Okay, he's going to pull to the right side right now. He's just trying to distract by time, but what's he got behind it? Nothing. Dude, he's so open. He's got like 8 Marines in a tank. Zerg normally just assumes there's more stuff there. He's going to try and sneak a planetary on the 4th. Solar's going to see that very early 4th base. That might prompt him to attack. I would suggest Solar just go right now, but he's also going to 90 drones himself. I think ByuN can get away with this. He's building 2 more factories. Dude, this is genius. So he's actually going to go triple tank production. The Marines on the map, they pick up at the last second. There's just a lack of mobile Zerg anti-air at this stage. Even with a few Hydras starting to come out, they're not very fast yet. So the Medivacs can continue to harass, just distract the Zerg player. And he's just going to try and basically layer siege tanks, Marines, and get this 4th base into a completely impregnable position. And then ByuN's going to pivot hard into Ghosts and hope that the new Ghost wins in the late game. I hope we get there, because I want to find out. I was playing against Ghosts earlier, and I mean, I just caught like 15 Ghosts with a Fungal and some Banelings and won the game. But I was very worried up to that point that if I wasn't going to find a way in, those Ghosts were going to butcher my Ultras. Broods were going to be really hard to use as well. Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar with the overlay, thank you everyone for helping them out. Worker counts are here. That's army count. And this is just mineral and gas count right now. The arrows show you income advantage. So it shows you that Solar is like, I think it's like 500 to 1,000 more gas a minute coming in, something like that. Or maybe it's 250 to 500. I think 2 arrows must be 250 to 500. I think 3 arrows is like 500 to 1,000. But no one really looks at the arrows. You don't need to think about those. Marine's going to pick up, pull to the left. Unfortunately, we don't have as many stats as in Capture Age for Age of Empires. I think one thing I love about Age of Empires is just how much of that there is. We can look at the APM now. APM is recorded a bit differently in different games. And as you can see, players in the modern era have figured out a lot of different optimizations to their keyboards and mice to make things happen insanely fast. Which is why we have an average of 510 APM for the Zerg, 398 for the Terran. Hydraling Bane is gathering on the front. Viper Infestor coming in behind it. ByuN's building command centers to wall everything off. He's got a wedge of tanks there, but they're so vulnerable to Vipers. And he needs to max out. He's trying to not build deeper. Guys, ByuN is so focused on the end game, he's not building supply depots. Instead, he's going to get supply from command centers. He doesn't want to waste 100 minerals. He's like, well, command centers give a bunch of supply anyway, and especially if he clicks them into orbital, they still give 15 supply, like in the live version of the game, because of the bug on the PTR. This is ByuN being as greedy as he possibly can. But not many Marines, not much anti-Zergling on this side. You can see siege tanks take forever to kill Zerglings when they're spread out. So you kind of want to have either a pack of Marines or Ghosts on either side to gun down the Zerglings. This side is also wide open. Something I've been very critical of on this map is that a lot of Terrans won't entrench this side. They'll put 2 tanks and nothing else. But usually that third base doesn't have a planetary fortress on it. So this fourth, the Planetary, does massive splash damage, 1,500 hit points. It's got a couple of extra armor points, does a big splash damage. You just don't want to fight into the Planetary unless you've got the ability to just blow it up very quickly. Also, guys, does it have 1,350 hit points? Is that a bug? Guys, I didn't see a patch note for Planetary hit points going down. Did I miss that? Since when did Planetaries have less hit points? Oh, it's damaged. Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I didn't even notice the health bar. Okay, I'm actually... I thought I was going insane. I thought it was at full hit points because it was like a neat round 1350. I was like, no way. I thought I just found another bug. I was like, no way. Watch out for the Blinding Clouds. Oh, Blinding Clouds on the tank here. Another one there. The other tanks in the back are okay. The ByuN needs to fall back up this ramp. Oh my god, look at these tanks on the edges though. These tanks on the edges. Solar moves into a slaughterhouse and throws away a lot of army. Was that worth it? Cost for cost, I don't think. You could see that Hydralisk was trying to burrow under the command center to block it. The siege tank having none of it. Units lost tab now. That's a big thing we check on in the late game of ZBT. If Terran decides to turtle to late game like this, Zerg, it's on them to find an opening. You can see there's an Overseer in the back. That is a clear sign of what the Zerg's intending. Nidus Worm. So he's going to go a Nidus. Often they'll go 2. He's going to put Lurkers inside it and try to pop that Nidus up in the back and get Lurkers there. ByuN has sent a Ghost to hunt down this Overseer, 2 Ghosts, because he knows he cannot let that happen. Keep in mind as well, you can, another way of getting in without Overlords and Overseers for vision to place the Nidus is you can spam Changelings out of these Overseers, camouflage infiltration units that look like a Marine, and just walk them in. There's a bug in the test patch, because it's meant to be now, if you click on one, it kills all the Changelings next to it, rather than you having to click 20, 30 times. It actually does splash damage to friendly and enemy units of all kinds. Only 10, but nonetheless, Changelings actually cause splash damage right now. It's a minor, but it can matter. These Ghosts, they don't have snipe energy. And look at that. There's a tank there, but the Overseer gets by. Big attack on the front at the same time. Vipers with some Blinding Clouds there. The Vipers, oh, they've still got energy. I don't know about this attack for Solar. It's kind of meant to be a distraction to get the Nidus up, but the Nidus will go down to the siege tank. And of course, you can see the Overseers in the back as well. These Ghosts, they do have 7 range, which means I think they can reach that. Oh, not quite. Once they get energy, they can, though. ByuN is turtling like crazy. He's got 11 orbital command centers. One of the most broken mechanics in StarCraft 2 is the orbital command center. For those who don't know, basically, once you upgrade a command center into an orbital, it can gather up to 200 energy. Every 50 energy can be either used for a scan, which is basically map hacks, gives detection, massive vision for quite a while, or for mules, which give you extra mining. Oh, fungal ambush! Burrowed Infested comes from the left, lands a good fungal. A lot of the Marauders and Marines get caught. 1 or 2 of the Ghosts get caught as well. Actually, a bunch of Ghosts. I think 3 or 4 Ghosts might have been caught there. Clears up a few tanks as well. And that was a good fight for Solar. There's still a 5,000 resource loss gap between the two, but that's okay. Zerg gets the whole map. Zerg can start mining out the corners. You can be less efficient as long as you keep denying this base, and Solar should already be mining this base and both corners. He's not doing it. Solar, he's got to stop bantering with his buddy. They've been chatting all game long. He's got to focus. These bases in the back are safe. You're never going to lose these. You're meant to transfer workers to these corner bases, but he's so distracted with trying to stop ByuN get at this 4th base that he's not focused on it right now. Ooh, Scan catches the Burrowed Infestor there. Clears this creep. There's a few Ghosts out in the open. You gotta be careful, mate. Do not want to lose those Ghosts. They are wildly expensive. So many factories going down. The tank's trying to hold the line, but actually Solar's getting a good trade. He's breaking through. There's just not enough bio. He needs to build more Marine Mortar. The Ghosts get hit by the Banelings. You need anti-Zergling, and that's what he's lacking right now. Solar wasn't even that scary a looking attack, and yet he finds amazing damage. He's got a huge mineral gas bank. Lurkers are sieging the right side. It looks like ByuN just can't quite withstand these waves. I think that big fungal just opened everything up. And as good as Ghosts are, it feels like ByuN hasn't really got to the point where he can properly stalemate the late game. And that's what you really need to do in this scenario. You got to really slow things down. Terran's always spending way more money getting set up with the mass orbital, all the production, and they're way more efficient the longer the game goes. But Solar, he's got this huge bank, and he's just got to keep trading it in not terrible ways. It doesn't have to be good trades. They just have to not be terrible trades. Like if he blows this left side up, look, the whole army's focused on securing the base on the right. There's nothing here. It's 1 tank, 1 planetary. This is the easiest bust of all time. Sending a few Changelings in front. You can see the little infiltrator boy is going to try and turn into Marines. I'm totally one of the boys. Nothing suspicious to see here. Massling Bane Hydra Viper comes in on the left side. Blinding Cloud on the tank is nice. Planetary will take out some of the Ling Bane, but the moment those Banelings get on the workers, they can not repair. They've got to run away. You cannot stop to repair that, or the Banelings will just pick you apart. Ghost coming in from the right side. The SCVs get left in the open, though. Idle SCVs just left there. The Ghost coming over. As powerful as the Ghosts are, they're 3 supply each. They're an immense amount of money. And they're not hypermobile. They're also not 125 hit points anymore, guys. They're back to 100 hit points this patch. They have a light tag, which means Banelings do bonuses to them. ByuN's hanging on right now, but he needs to just have a really good, clean hold for the next 2 minutes. If he can finish maxing back out, there's still hope, as long as he holds this base. Blue Flame's on the way, +2 vehicle weapons. He's already got +3 vehicle weapons on his mass siege tank production. I've pointed out that ByuN's late game always relies on mass siege tank, and top Zerg players never make Broodlords against him until far too late. Solar's one of the players who's played against him 1,000 times. I would expect Solar to... Oh, hold on! Nothing on the right except siege tanks. Great blinding clouds. Good Baneling Hydra spread. The tanks are getting overrun. The Baneling's not quite able to connect with the Marauders. He barely holds on. But another 16 workers go down. If Solar goes Broods right now against... Is this 5? 5 factory guys. Actually, he's building not tanks on these. Just Hellbats. Mixing Hellbats in now. The command center! Oh! Oh no! ByuN! I can't believe he let that command center get focused down by 5 Hydralisks. Oh, that's so bad. And he's just got nothing guarding this left side now either. He does send an SCV to repair this factory. It feels like Solar, with all this bank, he's still got a few more waves to go before he's in any sort of trouble. He's only got 13 workers on the corners, still hasn't started mining from this. Any resource you mine from these front bases is resources that ByuN will never be able to mine. It is direct damage in a long game. And this is definitely a big oversight for Solar to not have focused on that, but his attacks have been excellent. Thank you so much for the subs, guys. Really appreciate the biddies, the subs, the tips. Day 9 with a big raid as well. Thank you very much, mate. Paul Mango. Ling's going in. Gonna find 12 SCVs. That's a distraction, though. There's the real attack. Ling Bane Hydra on the right side. The Bio Hellbat tries to shift away from those Banelings. Banelings, they always go into battle knowing that they're not going to come out the other side. They know they are single-use units. It's okay to lose them as long as you're looking at worker kill counts like that. 27 workers is excellent. You might be thinking, 8,000 resources worth trading. Isn't that terrible? Not when you're mining out these 2 middle bases. This middle base, well, he's still not mining the minerals there, which is sloppy. But you'll mine this base in the near future as well. It just doesn't feel like ByuN is going to be able to get out. And even if he mines this base out eventually, by that point, Solar will have mined the rest of the map. And Solar is able to trade like this pretty much all day. That's Detective Poor Mango to you. I apologize. Alright, Banelings on the right side. Marauders with a nice spready there. Hellbats are weak to the Banelings, and they do get blown up on the front line. 2 tanks, a planetary, a tank on the high ground. It feels like a last stand, doesn't it, guys? This feels like some sort of just wave survival simulator. It feels like the last mission of Wings of Liberty All In, where there are just endless waves of Zerg coming your way. You have to defend them. And I gotta tell you, if ByuN had an artifact that he could click right now that would cleanse the entire map of Zerg for the next minute or two, he would feel very good. Because I think if he could do that, he'd have enough time to stabilize. Solar has not won this game. Solar's down to 11,000 resources less efficient, and he's just leaving this undefended left side to attack into the strong point on the right. He needs to find damage, and he needs to find it soon. Can he get the Banelings on the planetary? I think he can! He does break the planetary, but that's an expensive trade, and ByuN has so many command centers. If he can get a new one down there right away, I honestly don't think that's that bad. Solar's exhausted his bank. He's not used this 5-6 minutes of map control to mine out the forward resources. So ByuN actually has easy bases to take right next to him. Oh no. Has Solar actually messed this up? This left side is wide open, guys. There's a single tank defending. That left side is where Solar needs to be attacking right now. But now he's actually getting pushed back and overrun. All the Banelings getting caught. As cocoons, gunned down. Hatchery goes down in the top side. Tanks are here. Ling's trying to get on them. They're getting gunned down by the Ghosts and the Siege tanks. Oh my lord, what a seesaw. ByuN has weathered the storm in this game and is fighting back. And there's a lot of details you need to do correctly. If the Terran sits in their base and builds 15 command centers, you've got to take the map. You've got to mine it out aggressively. And you've got to be really technical with shifting your attack pattern. He just got a bit too predictable with attacking the right side over and over again. That left side was wide open. Now ByuN goes to the left to defend because he realizes, hey, I'm winning the right side so hard you have to pivot left. Solar should have pivoted left earlier when he wasn't forced to. That's when it's unpredictable. That's when it's really hard. ByuN just has to split his army half and half, and he won't be able to defend nearly as well. But now, ByuN has maxed out. How many orbitals does he have left? 11! He's still got 11! That's an immense amount of map vision with these scans. Endless mules he can drop, so he doesn't need to have a worker count nearly as high. And Solar's almost out of bank. Solar needs a good catch. Maybe some burrowed infestors catching ghosts with a fungal would be good. It's actually not that many ghosts. Realistically, I think the fear of the ghosts is always there. But what we're seeing is a guy on mass siege tank beat a Zerg who refuses to play Broodlords. Broodlords are not great, but specifically against ByuN, there's kind of this blind spot in the meta where pro Zergs say Broodlords are bad, therefore I don't build them. And ByuN says siege tanks are really bad against Broodlords, but no pro Zerg ever builds Broodlords, so I can play mass siege tank every late game TVZ and get away with it. And it's one of these things that it's kind of shocking that the Zergs haven't taken advantage of it, because he does this all the time, and those Broods always punish him. You can see them. Now the Broodlords come in, but it's always after they start losing the game. And then ByuN's got map control now, and ByuN's building Thors because he knows, oh, you're going to have to do something else. But if you make this sort of tech switch when you're winning the game rather than when you've started arguably losing it right now as Solar, still very close, you have a much better chance of catching him off guard. Now, to be fair, it's only 2 Thors out with 1 more building. That's not enough to beat 10 Broodlords if you get some spells on them as well. Microbial Shroud is upgrading. Guys, you do not need to upgrade this. The Infestors start with that spell. It's a bug on the PTR. You can pay for the upgrade if you want to, but it does nothing since you already have access to it. Ghosts on the front line. Oh, Broodlord's coming forward. The snipes are good. Snipes are really good against the Broods as well. Snipes are very good. Uncancelable, even if you fungal them. Oh, and you can see that's a really good hold. Lots of snipes go down. A couple of Thors anchoring it. The ghost sniping. Uninterruptible snipes as well, which is why Broodlords are even weaker now. And, what is that? It's crazy. That's so many bugs on the PTR. It's the very first iteration of it. We expect a patch sometime this week. I thought there'd be a patch before today's tournament, which is why when me and Stego were talking, I was like, let's do PTR anyway when we were organizing this one. But I was like, hopefully there's a patch. There isn't. It's still good to see how it plays out though. All right, Hydraling Bane comes in from all sides. Nice Fungal's going down. Thor's tank, Hellbat's getting surrounded. Hydra's doing pretty well on that right side. The snipes are landing on a few of those Hydras as well. Oh my gosh. What looked like a decent fight very quickly turned into a complete massacre. The tail end of that fight was awful for Zerg. And Solar's going to lose that top right side. He's almost out of bank. Broodlords will start to break through the left, which is where they're most effective, but even a couple Vikings, Ghosts, or Thors going over there could ruin their day. Very good lift as well. Oh, yeah, you gotta watch out for these Ghosts. I really feel like Ground Army had to pivot to this left a lot more earlier. I think it's so important to pivot as a Zerg, because if Terran sets up the perfect defensive spot, it's so hard to fight into. Microbial Shroud does go down there, but that orange cloud is a 50% range damage reduction on all units inside it. Kind of protective bubble. Baneling's going after the SCVs. Oh, hello. Hello. Does take out a bunch of the SCVs, but Solar's mostly out of bank, mostly out of lava. He's not quite able to get what he needs here. Now, what happened over here, guys? Weren't there Ghosts going to kill these Broodlords? Looks like the Broodlords somehow won that fight. Maybe ByuN just wasn't looking. Distracted on the right side. Two tanks building armor. Only now coming in. Oh, wow. He forgot to make building armor earlier. That's unfortunate. Game like this, where it's constantly having buildings tanking damage. Ooh, a couple Broodlords will go down. Very nice. The Vikings catching no anti-air, no queens. There's 10 Hydras on the map, but they're far away, and the Vikings finding a couple of these very expensive flyers exposed on their own. Hydras also look a little slow. Do they have both upgrades? They do. That's just Hydralisks being derpy Hydralisks. Nothing to see there. At this point, as long as ByuN keeps taking a new base, he's going to be good. And the fact that these 3 bases in this top right didn't get mined out at all, or very little, this top one a bit, I was pointing that out earlier because so often these late games go to this scenario. And I think it's just a testament to how good Serral is that he's the only Zerg who consistently steals his opponent's resources in these games. So that even if they do eventually break out of the first 4 or 5 bases like ByuN has, they find these bases with very few minerals and gas left on them. And they're kind of dead in the long game anyway because of that. But I don't know if any players are really consistently taking the bases other than Serral. I think there's a lot of things that happen in StarCraft where there's things players know they should do, But in the heat of managing everything you've got to manage, it's much easier to talk about it from the sidelines like I am than actually pull it off. Ling Bane rolls forward. Can he land a fungal on the Ghost? The Ghost is staying back very nicely. Fungal only hits one of them. A few Thors do get cleaned up on the front. The tanks were a bit far back. And it's a very nice snipe on the orbital. The problem is, just so many units died. And oh no! Oh my gosh, I haven't been checking in on the units lost tab. 30,000 difference. The cost efficiency has got out of hand in this game. Holy moly. The Ghost just YOLO. This is a terrible move by ByuN. Completely unnecessary risk. But he senses that he could win the game. And he actually could, so I guess it wasn't a terrible move. I take that back. It was a game-winning move. Wow. ByuN was pretty behind in the mid-game. I still feel like Solar probably should have been able to finish him off there, if not on his way up. Remember, he was sitting at 160 supply for a while in this game and building like 8 command centers before even maxing out. I do think a lair tech timing probably gets a free win. And I think there was a few moments where mining out those corner bases and pivoting his army were probably where Solar missed it. I think there was a moment where he pivoted left. I think this is it. This was one of Solar's best moments in the game, where he goes in here. He takes a while to do it. He should have been doing this faster. He definitely could have upped the ante, but Lurkers were sieging the right. Army goes in on the left. He busts this planetary, kills a bunch of workers, gets a bunch of damage. This move is amazing. And after this all gets wrapped up, he should have done it again. He should have done a big attack on this side and then pivoted back to this side again. But if we look at this, I think he sent like a little Ling run by there, and it did well because the planetary wasn't up. It was distracting. It's a very cheap move, and he sends some Lurkers in. This is great. This is great. And then he goes and attacks the right side, which is really good as well. But then if we look at this, from this like 17-minute mark, I can fast forward and we can kind of see the map. I don't think he ever committed to the left side. He sent some Zerglings in there. And we're dragging through. Look at the mini-map over here, guys. Between 17 and 24 minutes, there was no committed attack on the left side. And all there was a few tanks. You can either flood Lings in or just roll Mass Ling Bane Hydra and just blow it up. 4 tanks on their own does not defend anything. Both the third, all these factories, all this infrastructure, and the gas mining are all super exposed. And if you clear all that out, you also have the avenue to send counterattacks straight into the natural here, while he's so focused on trying to expand to the right. So even if your opponent takes this base, his left side is totally cleared out, and he's constantly only really able to defend one area at once. I think this is a bit of a mistake for Solar to have missed this in this game, and he just got too funneled into attacking into the same position where there was tanks here on the ledges. Such a good tank spread, good Hellbat Marauder spread. Like, it was just a really good defense on that base for ByuN. Hats off to ByuN, guys. Brings it back, wins the finals, has faith in the Ghosts, the Thors, and everything else. But also, I think it was one where Solar had it within his grasp, and his openings look fantastic. GG, well played. Solar is the weekly Pigstarcraft champion yet again.